The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
All right, good morning here at 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Kevin Charette. Alex has the day off. Nicely done.
Yeah, I don't usually stand in this spot, so I'm very nervous this morning, to be honest with you.
You're a little red.
I'm a little red. There's a prompter thing in front of me. As the weather guy, I usually ad-lib everything, so seeing words and trying to follow it's just
not a good idea to do that for 2 hours
I know.
straight.
Well, we're going to give it a shot. Just certain stories. So we're going to have fun this morning on this Friday.
And we begin this morning with a major traffic alert to tell you about. Northbound Highway 99 is closed between White Lane and Bell Terrace this morning. According to California Highway Patrol, a person is sitting on the railing above the off-ramp on Ming Avenue. Officials haven't provided any other information. The southbound lanes are moving and open, but again, the northbound lanes of Highway 99 are closed right now between White Lane and Bell Terrace. Police and first responders have been in the area since last night. No word on when traffic will be moving again, but we'll keep you posted. Today, California's renter eviction moratorium will be lifted, meaning the eviction process for those who haven't paid their rent can begin. The eviction moratorium isn't the free pass some think it is. Instead, it's really an IOU. And now today, the first payment, 25% of everything renters owe is due.
Have more tenants who have taken advantage of the system and just simply said, I'm not paying because I don't believe I need to pay, not realizing that at some point in time they will have to pay. It is not a rent abatement, it is a rent deferral.
Property owners can now serve notices to renters for unpaid rent, which could lead to an eviction. This notice gives renters 3 days to pay a portion of the total rent they owe. But if the 25% is not paid, complaints and legal action could follow. If you're struggling to pay rent because of the pandemic, Kern County Housing Authority has a program to help.
There's still quite a bit of money available in assistance. We are strongly encouraging people to continue to apply if they need it.
And to qualify for the program, you need a copy of your lease, proof of income, a back rent statement from your landlord, and a self-attestation form. Both renters and property owners are encouraged to work together to come to a solution. 5:04 in Washington now. The lights are on and federal employees will be going to work today. President Biden signed a bill to keep the federal government funded just hours before the shutdown deadline. But lawmakers went home for the night without voting on a key part of the president's agenda. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest.
Maddie, good morning. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi moved the vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill from Monday to Thursday to make sure she had enough time to get all Democrats on board. But they're not there yet. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi leaving the Capitol after midnight after missing the Democrats' own deadline to pass a $1 trillion spending bill to improve the nation's infrastructure, insisting a vote is still imminent.
How disappointed are you that there's no vote tonight, Madam Speaker?
We'll have your vote today. There'll be a vote today.
Progressive House Democrats are refusing to vote for the infrastructure bill until Democrats in the Senate reach agreement on President Biden's top legislative priority, an even bigger spending plan with money to expand Medicare, fight climate change, and improve access to child care.
He should have focused just on infrastructure. But what they want to do is restructure and transform America.
Moderate Democrats Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin object to the $3.5 trillion price tag. Manchin's proposing a bill $2 trillion smaller, but all sides are expressing optimism.
There's a lot of good in both of them. We should be able to come to that agreement.
Earlier,
The yeas are 254, the nays are 175. The motion is adopted.
Both chambers agreed to keep the federal government open until December 3rd. That bill included money for disaster relief in several states and to help resettle Afghans newly arrived in the U.S.
Next will come step 2, the debt ceiling.
But it did not increase the nation's debt limit. Congress has until October 18th to raise or extend the debt ceiling. Fed Chair Janet Yellen said it would be catastrophic if they didn't, and even went as far to say that the debt ceiling should be abolished. In Washington, Chris Pallone, 17 News.
In your 17 Crime Watch now, a person is in custody following a standoff at a local market. There was a heavy police presence at El Toro Loco Market off Taft Highway just after 5 p.m. yesterday. Taft Highway was shut down, causing traffic to back up in both directions. The Kern County Sheriff's Office hasn't released much information on the incident, only saying deputies took one person into custody. No injuries were reported, and we're still working to find out what led up to the standoff. Meantime, California Highway Patrol is investigating a rollover crash that left one person seriously hurt last night. According to CHP, the crash happened just after 11:30 on Highway 99, just south of Taft Highway. Officials believe the driver swerved off the road and hit a tree, but it's unclear what exactly led up to the crash. The driver was taken to the hospital. No word on that person's condition this morning. And we're saddened to pass along this update on a deadly crash that happened earlier this week. Mark Root, a prominent Bakersfield physician and former chief medical officer for Dignity Health, has been identified as the man who was killed in a motorcycle crash on the Westside Parkway. Officers say Dr. Root was found dead Tuesday morning, though the CHP says the crash likely happened late Monday night. CHP says for unknown reasons, Root's motorcycle left the eastbound lanes, crashing down an embankment and hitting a fence. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Funeral services for Dr. Rodney Mark Root are still pending. 5:07 is your time now. Honor Flight Kern County is once again sending local veterans to our nation's capital, and the community is raising money to support them. Happening today, American General Media and the Ralph Bailey Show are hosting a phone-in and in-person fundraiser. You can call 842-5376 between 3 and 6 p.m. to make a contribution. You can also stop by the studios on Easton Drive, where volunteers will be standing by to take donations. AGM says with your help, Honor Flight can send 50 veterans to Washington, D.C. coming up. Also happening today, you can get yourself a big barbecue lunch and help out local first responders at the same time. It's a barbecue fundraiser for the Public Safety Professionals Retreat, also known as Prosper. The program sponsors retreats and help for public safety personnel like our first responders struggling with the challenges of stress and trauma every day. It's happening right outside our studios at the corner of 21st and L Streets from 4:30 to 7:30. The meal includes tri-tip and chicken, spicy green beans, rice pilaf, salad, and a dinner roll. Meals are $25 a piece if you order ahead of time and $30 on site. You can get your tickets at prosperretreat.com. And finally, the annual Greek Food Festival returns today and is ready to serve up some tasty treats. The festival will have gyros, barbecue plates, flaky pastries, and more. There will also be live music, dancing, performances, and shopping. It's happening at St. George Greek Orthodox Church. That's on Truxton Avenue. And the festival runs all weekend. Tickets are $5 per person, and kids under 12 get in free. Capping our top stories this Friday morning. Today, California's renter eviction moratorium will be lifted. Property owners can now serve notices for unpaid rent, which could lead to an eviction. If you're struggling to pay rent because of the pandemic, Kern County Housing Authority has a program to help. We have all of the information on our website, kget.com. A government shutdown was averted last night, but President Biden is still trying to bring Democrats together to resolve a crisis of their own making. Congress passed a bill yesterday that keeps the government funded through December 3rd, but leaves the debt limit problem unresolved and the president's sweeping infrastructure legislation unfinished. Mark Root, a prominent Bakersfield physician and former chief medical officer for Dignity Health, has been identified as the man killed in a motorcycle crash on the Westside Parkway earlier this week. The cause of the accident is still under investigation. Funeral services for Dr. Root are still pending. Today marks the start of California's first vaccine mandate. The order given in August will affect local healthcare workers, some of whom are still unvaccinated. 17's Chris Burton is joining us live from Mercy Hospital downtown this morning with more. Chris?
Well, Maddie, you said it. Today is the deadline. The sun's about to come up here. Employees are already arriving. And today, no worker goes through the hospital doors just that way without proof of vaccination or an approved exemption. California's first vaccine mandate is here. And yet, some workers remain unvaccinated with no exemption or plans to get the vaccine.
If I have to get it, it's going to be against my will.
Elgart, an X-ray technician at Dignity Health Memorial Hospital, applied for a religious exemption and was denied. Professor Dorit Rice says it's often tricky for employers to grant religious exemptions because a sincerely held religious belief must contain several components.
If it's religion, it has to be about fundamental questions about life, in this, for example, it has to be part of a comprehensive belief system. And it often, but not always, religion comes with external signs and rites.
Daniel Walcott, president of Adventist Health Kern County, says its hospital had to equalize workers' beliefs with workplace safety and patients' well-being.
We highly value the fact that people come to life with different sets of backgrounds and beliefs. What's important, though, is that we balance the need to honor those individual beliefs with the safety of the work environment and the safety for our patients and our community.
Elgart and Trang Tran, who also remains unvaccinated without an exemption, are still unsure whether they'll get vaccinated.
I asked for my pastor advice, and I talked to some of my trusted friends, and we're still in the process of thinking about that.
Unvaccinated healthcare workers at Dignity Health who have not informed superiors of their intentions to get the shot will be placed on unpaid administrative leave. Now, you might remember we saw a protest here in August by healthcare workers who were against getting the vaccine. Now, Elgart, Tran, and a local activist all told me they were unaware of any plans to protest this current decision anytime in the coming weeks. Live at Dignity Health Mercy Hospital, Chris Burton, 17 News.
Thank you, Chris. And now to the latest coronavirus numbers in Kern County. Public Health announced 406 new cases and 4 deaths yesterday. Since the beginning of the pandemic, 1,544 people have died due to the virus. 237 people are in local hospitals and another 74 patients are in local ICU beds. A man who's believed to be at the center of a lawsuit against Adventist Health over the controversial drug ivermectin has died. Wesley Dean Howard died on September 22nd, according to an obituary with Mission Family Mortuary. 17 News has been unable to reach the Howard family. A lawsuit filed September 20th on behalf of a man with the same name and age claims that the hospital refused to give him ivermectin, even though a doctor had prescribed it. Ivermectin is approved to treat parasitic worms, but the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not authorized its use for treating COVID-19. 5:35 now, our 17 News follow-up file. Today marks 4 years since the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. On October 1st, 2017, 58 people died and more than 850 were hurt when a gunman opened fire on concertgoers at the Route 91 festival in Las Vegas. 2 more people later died, bringing the total number of victims to 60. Among the victims, 20-year-old Bailey Schweitzer, the youngest victim, 54-year-old Jack Beaton, Shafter High graduate Victor Link, and 28-year-old Taft resident and substitute teacher Kelsey Meadows. A sunrise remembrance is being held this morning in Thousand Oaks. It will be streamed live on Clark County's social media pages starting at 7 a.m. Also from our follow-up file this morning, it's been 5 months since Bakersfield Police K-9 Django was shot and killed in the line of duty. The first K-9 line of duty death in the department's 123-year history.
Please, K-9, you're going to get bit. Stop running.
Django was killed April 27th while trying to apprehend a car thief. Django's handler, Senior Officer Brock Mueller, is set to return to work next week without his beloved partner. 17th Tammy Milchok sat down with Mueller this week to see how he's doing and how he's moving forward without Django by his side.
Grieving it's something different. I've never experienced it, so I don't think you really ever stop. I still have so much love and passion for what we do as canine handlers that I knew I couldn't just walk away from it. So, you know, me and Django were in our prime, and I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave like that. I wanted to continue going and continue our mission. So.
And you can watch more of Tammy's exclusive interview with Mueller Sunday night on a special edition of 17 News at 8:30, following Sunday Night Football right here on TV 17. The Bakersfield Police Department is inviting the community to a national night out. This year's event will take place in person next Tuesday, October 5th. It will be held at Patriots Park from 6 to 9 p.m. National Night Out is an annual event where law enforcement officers get together with the cities they serve to promote unity.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.